I can still picture the shock on Karen's face when the handcuffs snapped around her wrists, but I'm jumping ahead. It all began on a flawless Sunday morning when I stepped outside to admire my freshly polished Corvette. I'd spent 3 hours meticulously detailing every curve of that cherry red masterpiece, and its gleam in the sunlight made every second worthwhile. That's when I saw her storming across the street, arms crossed, her face set in that notorious scowl that had become the talk of our neighborhood. "Excuse me," she barked, planting herself squarely between me and my car. "I need the keys to that vehicle now." Her voice dripped with the kind of self-assured authority that suggested she expected instant compliance. I stared, wondering if this was some sort of prank. "Karen, what are you talking about? This is my car," I said, keeping my tone steady despite my rising bewilderment. She tilted her chin defiantly, eyes narrowing. "That's my brother's Corvette, and I don't know how you got it, but if you don't hand over those keys, I'm calling the police." She extended her hand as if I'd just comply with her absurd demand. Within the hour, the police did show up, but not for me. I had moved into Oakwood Estates just 3 months earlier. After years of hard work and saving for my dream home in what was supposed to be a serene, upscale community. The cherry red Corvette Stingray in my driveway was the realization of a lifelong goal. A promise I'd made to myself as a teenager flipping through car magazines. What I hadn't expected was the immediate scrutiny it would attract from the Homeowners Association, particularly from Karen Westfield, the HOA president, who seemed personally insulted by my car's existence. From the moment I arrived, Karen made it clear she found my vehicle offensive. It started with polite notices about community aesthetic standards, followed by less subtle remarks whenever she saw me driving. "That color's awfully bold, don't you think?" she'd say with a smile that never reached her eyes. "Most residents here choose more understated cars." I'd respond with a polite nod, privately calculating how many times I could rev my engine without breaking noise rules. Things escalated when Karen began slapping neon-colored violation notices on my windshield. One claimed my car's flashy appearance violated community guidelines. Another said it was disruptive to neighborhood harmony. I reviewed the HOA bylaws. There was nothing about car colors or models, only rules about parking and maintenance. When I brought this up at an HOA meeting, Karen dismissed me with a flick of her hand. "The board can interpret guidelines as needed for the community's benefit," she said. "The situation worsened when I installed a new exhaust system. It wasn't loud. I'd chosen one that complied with regulations, but its deeper tone caught Karen's attention." The next morning, I found her photographing my Corvette with her phone. When she saw me watching, she marched to my door, jabbing the doorbell repeatedly. "Your car's exhaust violates noise ordinances," she declared. "Remove it within 48 hours, or I'll have it towed at your expense." Her face glowed with the thrill of control, and I could tell she was relishing it. "Karen, the exhaust is within legal limits," I said calmly. "I checked city regulations." She leaned closer, voice low. "This isn't about city rules. It's about HOA standards, and as president, I decide what's a violation." The threat was clear, but I wouldn't be bullied. I nodded, thanked her for her concern, and shut the door. That night, I installed a security camera pointed at my driveway, a decision that proved crucial. Over the next 2 weeks, Karen intensified her crusade. She sent a neighborhood-wide email about certain residents disrupting tranquility with inappropriate vehicles. She called an emergency HOA meeting to propose new vehicular aesthetic, rules clearly aimed at my car. When the board didn't support her, she got more aggressive. One Saturday, I caught her measuring the distance between my Corvette and the curb with a tape measure, hoping to catch a parking violation. When she saw me, she smiled, just upholding standards as HOA president. The next day, a notice on my door claimed my car was leaking fluids, a lie I disproved with photos of my spotless driveway. Then came that pivotal Sunday when Karen crossed into something far worse than harassment. I was outside, basking in the morning sun, polishing my Corvette's hood, when Karen charged across the street. Neighbors were out, walking dogs or grabbing mail, and they stopped to watch as she positioned herself between me and my car, arms folded like a sentinel. "I'm done with this nonsense," she announced loudly, ensuring everyone heard. "That's my brother's Corvette, and I want the keys now." Her voice quivered with what seemed like real emotion, but something about her theatrics felt off. I stared, stunned. "Karen, I bought this car new 3 years ago. What are you talking about? Don't lie." She yelled, her voice rising. "This is Robert's car. Same model, same color. He died last month, and his car vanished from his garage." She pointed at my custom license plate frame. "He had that exact frame. You stole it, and I'll prove it." Neighbors were now openly watching, some recording with their phones. I took a deep breath. "Karen, I'm sorry about your brother, but this is my car. I have all the paperwork." I reached for my phone, but she lunged, trying to snatch my keys. "Give me those," she demanded, her face twisted with fury. "That car's my family's." I stepped back, keeping the keys out of reach, which only enraged her more. "You're a thief, a criminal who thought nobody would notice. I'm calling the police," I said firmly, holding my ground. "This has gone too far." Karen smirked triumphantly. "I already did. I called 911 before coming here, reporting a grand theft auto. They'll be here any minute to arrest you and impound my car." Right on cue, sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder as 2 patrol cars arrived. 3 officers approached cautiously, clearly puzzled by the scene. Karen rushed toward them, pointing at me. "That's him, officers. He stole my brother's car," she cried, tears streaming down her face. "I have the spare key at home and all the paperwork. He must have hotwired it." The lead officer, a woman with a calm demeanor, asked us to stay apart while they sorted it out. "Sir, can you provide proof of ownership?" she asked me. "Absolutely," I said, opening my digital glove box app on my phone. "Here's the title, registration, insurance, and purchase agreement from the dealership." I showed her the documents with my name clearly listed. "I have the physical copies inside if you need them." The officer reviewed the digital files, then asked for the hard copies. I retrieved them, including the original sales contract. While I provided evidence, Karen grew frantic. "Those are obviously forged," she insisted. "He photoshopped his name onto my brother's paperwork. Check the VIN, it'll match my brother's car." The officers checked the VIN against their database, confirming it was legally mine for 3 years. "Ma'am, can you provide documentation showing your brother owned this vehicle?" An officer asked Karen. Her confidence wavered, but she rallied. "I don't have it here, but at home I have photos of Robert with the car, identical model, color, everything." The officer exchanged looks with her colleagues. "Ma'am, even if your brother had a similar car, that doesn't mean this one was his. All evidence shows this vehicle belongs to this gentleman." Karen's face turned crimson. "You're not listening," she screamed. "He's manipulated the paperwork. That's my brother's car, and I want him arrested." She lunged at me again, grabbing for my pocket where I'd put my keys. "Give me those keys." The officers swiftly pulled her back. "Ma'am, calm down," the lead officer said sternly, but Karen was beyond reason. "You're all incompetent," she shrieked, fighting their grip. "That's my car, Robert's car. I'm the HOA president, and I demand you do your job." She broke free and grabbed at my pocket again, tearing it slightly. That was it. The officers restrained her, and despite her protests, they cuffed her. "Karen Westfield, you're under arrest for filing a false police report, attempted theft, and assault," the lead officer said, reading her rights. The look of sheer disbelief on Karen's face was unforgettable, her eyes wide as if she couldn't fathom being the one arrested. "This is outrageous," she sputtered as they led her to the patrol car. "Do you know who I am? I'm the president of Oakwood Estates HOA. You can't arrest me for protecting my property." Later that day, neighbors told me Karen was charged with filing a false police report, attempted theft, and assault. The evidence was overwhelming, with witnesses and video footage of her trying to take my keys. An investigation revealed she didn't even have a brother named Robert. It was all a lie. The judge set her bail at $25,000 and issued a restraining order barring her from coming near me or my property. The fallout was swift. Karen was ousted as HOA president in an emergency board vote. Her employer, a local real estate firm that valued ethics, put her on unpaid leave pending her case's outcome. When the story hit local news with footage of her screaming, "That's my Corvette." While being arrested, her professional reputation was ruined. At her sentencing 3 months later, despite her expensive lawyer's claims of temporary emotional distress, the judge showed no mercy. Karen got 6 months in county jail, 2 years of probation, and a $5,000 fine plus court costs. As the bailiff led her away, her face was a mask of stunned realization that her actions had real consequences.